back on the Zoom machine to the one and only, one of the greatest ever, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. There he is, my old friend DJ. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Ariel Helwani. Congrats on all your recent success. You got your show back.
Wow.
I was watching one of the things you said. You were like, I think it was you and Brandon Schaub going at it. You're like, hey, this is my own show.
That's right.
My own shit now.
You like that, huh? You like that? A little Helwani? You like that, DJ? Enough talking shit about Helwani. I come back after you now. You come at the king, you best not miss. And they all gone quiet. How about that?
Good for you, man. I'm proud of you.
Well, I got a bone to pick with you because I got a lot of toys here, and I see you, you showing off this new toy of yours. I didn't get one. I wasn't even offered one. I mean, I feel like it would look really good on the desk. You know the one I'm talking about. There's like that little mighty guy. I see you. Looks kind of like a Funko Pop doll. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I'll send you one once we get off the show.
No, now it doesn't work anymore. It's not out of the kindness of your heart. You don't want to ask for a gift. You want someone to say, "Hey, I got something for you." It would look great on the desk.
Wow. Well, I haven't got none from you. You got this brand new show. I'm sure you got fucking stickers. You haven't sent me none yet.
I got nothing. To be honest, who made those? I like those. What company is that?
That's YouTube's. So that came from, I was at GameStop one day and I was like, man, you know what? I really want a Funko Pop. And a lot of streamers like Dr. Disrespect, to Tatman, they created some of that stuff with YouTube. So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I would love to do one with you guys. I'm like, absolutely, let's make it happen. And then we designed the whole entire thing. And, it was a good experience and I loved it.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's really cool. Check it out. It's on his Instagram. All right. We have a lot to talk about, DJ. It's been a minute, as the kids like to say. Can we start chronologically, if you don't mind? Oh, there you are. Are you taking a call?
Sorry.
Oh, now you're back.
I was trying to turn you up.
Okay, my bad. All right. April, TNT show, Adriana Moraes. It was surreal to see you lose like that, because you had been so invincible, and we saw the tight, close loss to Henry, but like that, it was surreal stuff. How did you feel about what happened there in that fight? Like to go through that, the emotions that go, everything that goes through a loss like that. How did you digest it?
Being in the sport for a long time and seeing like my favorite fighters lose, I remember when Ronda lost. I remember when, Ben Henderson's lost, Fedor's lost, Krokop's lost. Just a lot of my favorite athletes lose. And I seen how devastated they were, how it kind of changed their outlook on things. And I never wanted that to be like, I never wanted to, when I see that, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let that affect me. So, obviously coming up short and getting TKO'd and finished for the first time in my career, it was definitely some that I never experienced about. I think the funniest thing I laughed at, and I was like, great. Now when I fill out the damn application, have you ever been TKO'd? I was like, God damn it, I have been TKO'd. Yeah. For the longest time, I haven't had to fill that out. So it was some experience, but it's part of the game. You do the sport long enough, it's bound to happen. And I didn't go out cold, as you can say. Like I've been knocked out cold from snowboarding. I've been pushed off a roof before, where I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck happened? You pushed me off the roof, didn't you? He goes, no, I didn't. I was like, yes, you did, you son of a bitch. So I've been knocked out like cold, but that wasn't, I remember the shot that landed. And then I remember I fell on my back and I was like, shit, get up. And I sucked my hand in that underhook and I was trying to get up. And it was just that perfect opportunity for him to execute that knee when I was trying to get up, and he landed it and I felt it. And I felt every shot afterwards. And then once, the ref pulled him off, I was like, God damn it. And he goes, take your time. I was like, I'm fine, get up. When I got up and went over to congratulate him. And and that's how it went down.
In America, that knee is illegal. How do you feel about that? Like for the vast majority of your career, that move means you win the fight. Was that strange for you? I know you know what the rule set is, but it's a freaking weird thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird thing. When I came back home from the fight, a lot of people are like, dude, what the hell was that? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, how come that son of SOB didn't get disqualified? And I was like, okay, one, in one championship, that is legal. You can need to ground opponent. And they're like, I never, my milkman, that's what I was having a conversation. He goes, didn't know that. Like, you had the whole house being pissed off. We were like, that's some bitch disqualified. And I was like, well, it's in one championship. It's legal. You can need to ground opponent. They're like, I never seen that before. So half the time I'm explaining to people that, it's legal over there. And then, yeah, and they're like, you never have to experience that. And I told my coach that too. And I was like, you go through training camp, and how often do you get rocked? Right? Not very often, because you only suffer concussions or get dropped in training. So when I stuck my arm in there, I've never done it before in my life. Never stuck my arm in there and try to get up that way. Usually you should go to your back or you go to legs. But, who trains when they're rocked? And it's the first time I've been experienced in that position getting up, because I've been dropped before. Dodson has dropped me multiple times in a fight, and I'm able to recover and get back in the fight. So, but yeah, it's something that is legal over there, and I had to get used to it. I found out the hard way, I guess.
By the way, you still have a milkman over there in Washington? I thought those went away.
Yes, sir.
Really? What does he come? He drops it off in like the little glass jug?
Yeah, he does.
Come on. Really?
It's I think it's Smith Brothers. Yeah, Smith Brothers milk, and he drops off eggs too. So we get fresh milk and fresh eggs every Friday. So he's cool, man. He's cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel like you live in like Pleasantville in 1960s. I don't see any of that where I live.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Good for you. It's a nice life over there. But do you like it? Obviously you signed up for it, but like, are you in favor? Because there was a bit of an irony there. You commented on the Aljamain Sterling knee, and then it happens to you. So like, are you in favor of this grounded, opponent knee is okay type of thing? Or would you rather it be more like the US?
No, I need the guy on their face too. When I fought Yuya Wakamatsu, I was kneeing him. And I'm a fan of it because he keeps the fight progressing, right? And that's how I've always been brought up, with my coach, Matt Hume, he's always talked about it. Like, how can a fighter be put in a position where it stops the other athlete from basically pursuing the end goal of the fight, like kneeing somebody, right? And that's when you're brought up that since 2009, because Matt's been in Pride, and they're kicking people to the down opponent, they're kneeing people. Like, it keeps the progression of the fight. And so I know you're trying to get at to. You're getting at, with Aljamain Sterling. Nah. It was karma. Karma. But for me, like, when I look at fights as an unbiased opinion. Like, I like Aljamain Sterling. Don't really know Peter Yan, but I love both their fighting style. And so as an athlete, I'm sitting here and I'm watching the fight. I'm sitting here watching the fight, and I'm like, Aljamain, you're way better than that. You're way fucking better than that. And you're sitting on your hands and knees, and quote unquote, these are his words. He said, I felt like I was in a safe position. You in a fucking fight, dog. There is no safe position. You cannot be on your hands and knees and hold him like that and expect him to do something. And granted, Peter Yan broke a rule, but as I'm sitting there, it's like the progression of the fight needs to happen. Peter Yan had to self-consciously stop thinking that, I cannot hit you because you're grounded. So let me figure something else out. Like, that was my mindset going into that fight. And so, is it karma? I don't believe in karma. I think if I wouldn't have said anything about that knee to Aljamain Sterling ground opponent, I'm sure if I was in that position, Adrian Moraes would have still blasted me in the face. And that's what happened.
Do you think Aljo should have continued?
That's up to him.
Yeah.
I got blasted clean right in the face, and I got up like a man. I was like, man, that was a good ass shot. And one about my life, everybody's different. Everybody takes a shot different. He's got neck problems, so who knows what he was going through in that fight. But he's a grown-ass man. If he wanted to continue, he could have. If he didn't want to, he didn't have to.
Now, how much time did you take off from training after something like that? Because it was so new to you, so foreign to you. Did you need some time off, or did you, sometimes people get knocked out and they go away. They don't want to train. They want nothing. They get depressed. How did you handle it?
Oh, I just came home. Nothing for me. Nothing ever changes when I win or lose, right? Because when you have children and you have a life outside of fighting, like I remember after my 8th consecutive title defense, I came home, started washing dishes, started doing laundry, changing diapers. So I've been a father throughout my whole entire career. So even after this loss, being a TKO or whatever, came home, started washing dishes, did laundry, took the kids, got my son on his dirt bike. So my life I'm very involved outside of fighting. And then how long did it take me to get back into the gym? Well, I think 2 months, because I'm busy outside of fighting. And that's why I've always loved it. I didn't spar for maybe probably 3 months just to chill. There's no reason to get right back in the gym. You see these guys like, man, I'm gonna get right back in the gym and, get back to work. And I'm like, yeah, I did that. I've been training nonstop since 2008. So for me, like I just want to be involved in my children's life, and I don't see any rush to get right back in the gym to train. I'm always in shape. I'm always working out in the morning. So yeah, I just chilled.
Do you think you would have handled it differently if you weren't a father, if you had no kids, no wife, no nothing, a single guy, and you go back to your house?
1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%. Because there's not, like for me, a lot of athletes, they go away for training camp, right? They go away to isolate themselves. And I've never done that before. And for me, I want to be involved in my children's life. This morning, to drop the kids off to school, went to my daughter's ballet practice. Shit, hell, I was doing this. And I think this is form 1, 5, 4, did my butterfly stretches. Like that's why I train. That's why I fight, is to be able to experience that stuff with my children. Like if I wasn't a successful athlete, I'll be working, clocking in 9 to 5. So for me, like I'm grateful to have, my children and my wife, because if I just spot all the time and look for the next fight, I'll be bored. Like I truly would be bored.
By the way, how did your wife handle seeing you get knocked out for the first time?
She, I think she was more, the hardest thing is that she's always at my fights, right? So with me being in Singapore and her not being able to be there to console me, whatever, she was a little shaken up. But once I called her, I was like, hey, baby. She was, she okay, baby? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm back in the hotel room, quarantined again. So I'll let you know when they let me out. And that's it. And, she's been with me since my second amateur fight. And she was there, when I came home, I was like, I got knocked out. She was, when you got knocked out? This is when I went snowboarding. She goes, how'd you get knocked out? And I was like, I went off a jump and I backseated. She goes, you can't backseat when you go off a big jump like that, baby. You can break your back. And I was like, well, I got knocked out. She goes, well, I don't think she's snowboarding. And I was like, I think you're right.
And that's it? You've never snowboarded since?
I went snowboarding 2 more times. Then after I injured my ankle, this is when I was getting ready for the Uncle Creepy fight. I injured my ankle. I was like, I'm done snowboarding. So now when I get a contract signed, I stop all major sports.
Okay. And so you take this time off, and then just a couple of weeks ago on this program, Chatri Sitchotan comes on and announces this fight that no one saw coming, you versus the Muay Thai legend Rotang, in a mixed rules fight, 4 rounds, 1 round MMA, then Muay Thai, MMA, Muay Thai, and it's going down December 5th on the 10th anniversary show. How the hell did this come about? This is some crazy stuff.
Once again, your boys at home chilling with the wife, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to fight. We want you to fight for the Muay Thai belt against Rotang." And I was like, well, I'm very flattered, and I want to be honest with you guys. And I said, I don't deserve a fight for the Muay Thai belt. Like, I understand you guys are trying to do a big fight. You want to sell the fight, but I don't deserve that belt. And there's a lot of athletes that spent their whole entire life hoping that one day they can fight for a Muay Thai belt. I'm not a world-class Muay Thai fighter. I know that, and I'm okay with that. I didn't, dedicate my martial arts to Muay Thai. So I said, I'll still fight Rotang, but it doesn't have to be for the Muay Thai belt. Like, let somebody else have that. Like, let somebody else who deserves that get that shot. And I said, we'll still do it. I was like, I'll fight him in big gloves. We can do 3 threes or whatever. And they said, okay, well, we'll come back to you. And then they came back to me, I think 2 days later, and they're like, how about this? And I was like, they're like, special rules fight. First round Muay Thai, second round MMA, third round Muay Thai, fourth round MMA. I said, okay, send a contract. Let's make it happen. And that's how it went down.
Yeah, okay, and so just to be clear, what kind of gloves will you be wearing? MMA gloves?
Mixed martial arts gloves, so 4 ounce. Oh. I think they're 4 ounce. I feel like they're 2 ounce. I was just over there and I was getting my buddy James Yang ready for his fight. And I was sitting there looking at the gloves. I'm like, there is nothing to these gloves. There's like, it's like a piece of paper on your glove, on your hand.
Thinner than the UFC ones?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like I put with multiple gloves, and I feel like the UFC gloves are a little bit thicker but they also go to right about here to where the Fairtex one chip goes. They kind of go to right here. So it's more of it lays down more, if that makes sense.
Do you think that prohibits or at least helps prohibit eye pokes because it's a little more curved? No, okay.
No. It's the natural reaction of somebody when they're backing up is to go like this, right? Like to go like this. So your fingers are there, or to measure distance, right? Like when you're in the dark, like if all the lights are turned off, nobody walks around like this.
Yeah. That's true.
You know, we walk around. This is how we feel. So I don't, I even with, my personal, I feel like the best gloves I've ever could invented was the Pride gloves because they were long. You can, if I hold my finger like this, like they just cover the whole hand. So those are my favorite ones, and they're nice and cushiony. Like if you knock somebody out with Pride gloves, you hit hard, right? Like you hit hard and you can find your shot.
How many rounds? How many minutes per round? Is it
3 minutes?
3, and why 4? What if it goes 2-2?
It goes 2-2. As for me, people are like, a buddy of mine, he goes, so how does this work? Like, how are they going to score it? And what happens if the first round, he tears you up? Second round, you take it down, you tear him up. Third round, da-da-da. I said, to be honest with you, dude, I'm not even worried about that. Like, I'm going out there, I'm going to compete. Like, if they're like, hey, this is an exhibition fight or this is a special rules fight, I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to compete, train, and go out and fight.
And are you going to train specifically in Muay Thai?
No. We'll do a lot of Muay Thai clinching, a lot of, balance, working the sweeps. But we've always trained Muay Thai in our camps, right? Because it's part of mixed martial arts. I have to mix everything up together in a competition. So with this, we will focus a little bit more on the feet, but we're still going to keep doing what we're doing, working on the grappling and the wrestling, everything.
Was this even on your radar at all? Did you think, like, is this something that would have never crossed your mind had they not brought it to you? Or in the back of your mind, did you think, oh, maybe this would be something fun to do one day?
Well, obviously, I've always wanted to do something like this, when I signed up to one championship, because it's not just based on mixed martial arts. Like, They don't just focus on that aspect of the sport. They celebrate, they showcase all the sports. So, like I said, I was at home chilling and they're like, hey, you want to do this? I was like, let's do it. And I'm grateful for the opportunity and I'm going to go out there and take full advantage of it.
Wow. One thing I heard people say in the aftermath, and I'd love to get your response to this, was DJ never wanted to do the TJ Dillashaw fight, and now he wants to do this fight. How do you explain that you didn't want to do something a little bit out there with TJ, but you're okay to do this?
Well, see, the whole TJ Dillashaw thing, we sent them, we gave our demands if we're going to do a TJ Dillashaw fight, right? And one of the demands was if he couldn't make weight 125, then we get to fight at 125 for his belt. And I think we were going to get some of his purse. And he was like, no, you can't do it. Because I know, me being an athlete, I knew when TJ cuts to 135, he's already shredded. And I knew if he cut to 125, he couldn't do it healthy. And I just knew he couldn't do it. And he's proven that he's made the weight, but he couldn't do it healthy. And he popped for, that fucking EPO drug, whatever he was doing. And I talked to him about it too. He was like, dude, I wanted it so bad. And that's one thing I respect TJ, right? Because I saw him at Disneyland. I was walking, I bumped him. I was like, what's up, cuz? Talking all that shit. I said, why'd you say those bad things about me? He goes, man, you know how it is, man. I'm trying to self-fight. And I was like, I've never said anything bad about you, TJ. You should never said that. His wife, Becca, was there. And, Becca and Destiny were talking. And I think they're there with their little boy. But I was like, damn, dog. I was like, why'd you do it? He was like, dude, I wanted to make 125 so bad. And when I was cutting down to, I'll wake up every morning, I'd just be exhausted. And, so I started taking this stuff and it just helped me, bounce back. So I give him respect by him just being straight up. It was, man to man. We're in the middle of Disneyland and he told me that. But that's what we said. Like, I knew he wasn't going to be able to make the weight class healthy and be able to perform. And that's what we put in the contract to fight TJ. And they're like, no, that's not going to happen. I was like, okay, the fight's not going to fucking happen. So a lot of people don't understand what goes on in the back, in the back door. Like, the matchmaker or the CEO of the organization is gonna, oh, he doesn't want to do the fight. Okay. It's like John Jones. Like everybody's like, oh, well, John Jones doesn't want to fight him. John Jones wants more money. So he wants to fight him. He just wants to get paid more. Doesn't mean he doesn't want to fight him. So,
by the way, when was that meeting at Disneyland? How long ago?
Oh, that was a long time. I mean, shit, I think I was still in the UFC.
Oh, okay.
And it was like a meeting. We just bumped into each other. He was having dinner with his wife. And I just said what's up and started chopping it up.
By the way, since you brought him up, could I ask, what do you make of this latest John Jones situation?
I want the best for John Jones, him and his family. And, I think he said it best. He has a lot of demons about the alcohol, and hopefully he can get past that and, be a good role model for, all the children and all the dads out there and for his daughter. So wish him nothing but the best. And we've always had great interactions with each other each time we worked with each other. So yeah, it's just unfortunate and sad. And yeah.
You have reached a point now, DJ, where your peers are starting to retire. You mentioned Uncle Creepy. That was a while ago. Joseph Benavidez, very recently. Dotson is kind of, slowly, calling it a career, and you're still around. What is it like to see the guys that, you cut your teeth with, your peers? Like, those were the guys, right, who made the flyweight division, among others as well, now starting to trickle away, and you're still around. What is that like?
It's definitely interesting because I remember watching Joseph when I was working full-time at Kerastar during his WEC days. And I always said this, you can't fight forever, right? And I think, that's just showcasing that, like Joseph retiring, John Dotson kind of going, he hasn't officially retired, but he hasn't been as active. Yeah. I know him and his family just had a horrible accident, but I'm happy they're okay. But it's the journey of an athlete, right? Because I know there's going to come a day where I'm like, I'm done. Like, there's nothing left for me to prove. Financially unstable. I want to be home. I want to help time more his dirt bike and his motocross. So I know it's going to happen. And I've always had that mindset that when I'm done fighting, the transition should be smooth. I shouldn't wake up like, man, I missed the bright lights. I missed this. I want to be like, I'm done. I've experienced that. So we see Joseph and those guys move on with their life. Like, I'm excited for what they do next. And yeah, when it's time for me to walk away from the sport, I'll be ready and I won't have any regrets.
How far away are we from that? And did the loss in April expedite that?
No, it doesn't. I've always viewed my career as a job. Right. Like, I remember I sat down and listened to Joseph Benavidez' interview with Chris Weidman on his podcast. And I always viewed my career as a job. And somebody asked me why. And I said, well, when I started working as a kid, I worked to provide to have a car. My mom was like, you want a car, baby? You better take your ass down the street and work at Park and Putters and start making your $5 an hour. And I was like, okay, we'll go do that. Started sweeping the golf course. When I worked in, high school, working at Taco Bell graveyard shift to pay for my car insurance, that's what I did. So now, me fighting in my career, there's two sides of me. There's a side when I step in the gym, I'm focused, I'm moving, I'm in my element. I forget about time, I forget about everything, and I enjoy fighting. And when I'm at home, I'm thinking like, okay, so we got this. I want to set up this for Tyron's college, tennis college, Mavericks college. Tyron wants this. I want to be able to chill. How am I going to get there? By competing and making money. So that's what I'm going to do. So once I get to the point where I don't need all that stuff, I don't need to compete anymore. So people look at us like, oh, you're just doing that because you need this. I'm like, I can go work at Costco, but it won't be the exact same pay. So why don't I do something I'm really good at? And I love it. I'll be able to do that instead. So for me, once I get to that point, then I'm like, okay, I'm good. Or if injuries, or if I'm getting, knock on wood, my ACL, my neck, my back, my hips, everything feels great. So if injuries take me out sooner, then so be it. But I'm going to go to where I'm like, okay, I got all my ducks in a row. As Marshall Lynch, count your chickens or save your chickens, whatever he said. That's why. So I view it as a job. This is my job, and I love it.
Every personality is different, But it seems like the moment you are done, you will be able to transition. You won't be one of those guys who comes back in 5 years because they need the money and it's sad and everyone's having those conversations about you. I mean, look, we saw it with Nick Diaz. Let's not beat around the bush. We don't know what his motives are, but like that wasn't the Nick Diaz of old. I don't think we'll ever see that. You're obviously a completely different person. But if you could give a young fighter advice right now, what is it? To not have to do that, to not be the sad story in their 40s, to not be broke, because let's be honest, in MMA, you don't make as much money as boxing, and we see a lot of these guys hanging on when they shouldn't. What is the advice? How did you figure this out to be ready to go away and be comfortable, unlike so many others?
I granted that to my coaches. You know, I remember when I was fighting in the WC, I remember Dino was like, all right, WC 48, first time on pay-per-view. He's like, all right, I'm going to give Fighter Night $65,000. And I was like, $65,000? I'm about to buy me WRX. I'm about to buy my dream car. And I remember Matt, he turned around, he goes, you're going to buy a house. You're going to invest. And ever since that point, ever since that first fight, all my title fights, all that stuff, you know, I never been very, I should say stupid with my money. I've always been smart with it, investing in it. And that's, you know, because they always tell me you can't fight forever. Like I remember after I lost my first title fight, you know, Matt was like, I think you should go to school. I was like, I ain't going to fucking school, Matt. I was like, I'm going to fight till the wheels fall off. I have no reason to go to school. I don't want to get education. I want to keep on competing. So I've had a great support group around me. And I think for the young fighters, you have to, I always tell them, what's your end goal? Right? Like one of my coaches, Brad Kurtz, he said, what's your end goal, DJ? Like, what's your end goal? And I was like, should I ever have to work ever again in my life? You know, it's okay. So when you get to that point, that's what you should be striving for, is to never have to work for ever again in your life. So I tell young athletes who get into mixed martial arts, okay, one, save your money, because the money you're making now, it's not going to be the same when you get older. Two, support yourself. Your group needs to be somebody you trust and that want the best interest for you, right? And enjoy the journey and just save your money. And always look at what's your end goal. Why did you start fighting? Is to be a world champion? Gucci, right? My goal when I started fighting was never to be a world champion, because it wasn't attainable because there was no weight class for me. Two, I just did it because it was something to do after I got home from work, and it was a great way to stay in shape, and it was a passion of mine, and it turned out to be a great career. So yeah, save your money, surround yourself with great people who want the best interest of you. And yeah, man, just, you know, enjoy it. Enjoy the journey.
What a mensch you are, DJ. Unbelievable. You know, I don't know if you know what that term means, but that means you're an absolute gentleman. You were like you, I said this about Carlos Condit, when he retired. I kind of have this survivor's guilt now a little bit, because there was a group of guys and females who were kind of coming up when I came into this sport too as a journalist. And I feel a kinship to you guys, you and Carlos Condit and GSP and all these guys. And to see you guys, you know, slowly start to retire, not to say that you're going to retire anytime soon, but you know what I mean? Like I will never feel the same way about the guys from 2010 to 2020. If I'm doing the sport in 60, it won't be the same. The guys in 2040 or whatever, God willing, I'm still doing this. And so I just have a lot of love for you guys, a lot of respect for you guys. And I wish you guys the best. And, you know, I will admit, maybe I'm not supposed to say this. It bummed me out when I saw you get knocked out. You know, we're not supposed to root for people. We're journalists. We're unbiased, but you know, I love you, and I'm happy to hear you're okay. And I can't wait for this fight on December 5th, 1X, you versus Rotang, a dream fight, if you will. So good luck in training for this very unique bout. Thank you for the time, as always. I know you don't love doing these interviews, but I feel like we've come a long way. You used to not even want to do them on camera back in the day, and now look at us doing them on Zoom from your kitchen. It's a beautiful thing.
I know, man. And I appreciate all the love, and you've always been a big supporter of my career. And yeah, man. I enjoy doing these interviews with you because you're very straightforward, and I always like to be transparent too. And yeah, I appreciate your support. And yeah, I'll get that toy to you. I apologize.
All right. Yeah, that's just me buttering you up for the toy. That's basically what all that was.
So you really don't want the damn toy?
No, I do. I was buttering you up to get the toy because I needed the toy on my desk because it's pretty sweet. This Roy McDonald one is probably my favorite. I forget who did it, but anyway, that would be up there with one of the best. It's a really nice one. DJ, you're the man. Thank you very much. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, but I'll get a toy to you.
All right, there he is, Mighty Mouse, Demetrious Johnson, the legend, December 5th. Looking forward to that fight very much.